I want to tell one about my mission that happened on my mission. I had been out on my mission in Paraguay for probably almost a year and a half, and my companion and I were coming back to our apartment, and my mission president's car was sitting outside of the street, just there waiting for me. We walked up, and he said, "Elder Curtis, I need to talk to you. There's an elder that's come here on the mission who's from your hometown." And I knew that. I knew that. I grew up in a small town. This elder was a cousin of mine, and so I knew him well, and I knew he was there in the mission. And I was excited that he was there. My mission president said, Elder Cox is struggling a bit, and I'm trying to think of all the ways I can help him stay on his mission. He's really discouraged and wants to go home, and the only thing I can think of to do is to, you know him well, and I want to put him with you to see if you can work with him for a little while and see if it makes a difference. He was a little younger than me, and I thought, okay, well, I'll do what I can. And anyway, Elder Cox and I had really special experiences, and I could feel the power of the prayers from his family and my family and our bishop and stake president, and it was just palpable how we could feel the power of their prayers while he was with me. But the Lord blessed us with a very special experience. There was a chapel being built in the area, in the town that we were in, and there were some workers there, and we would go meet with those workers and see if anybody was interested in hearing the gospel. And we met Jose Lopez, who was one of the workers there, and he was a good, humble young man, and he was interested in our message. So we started teaching him the gospel. At these sites, the way they would mix up the mortar for the bricks and so forth is they would dig pits in the ground, and I may be describing this a little off because it's been a long time, but they dig a pit in the ground, and they'd put all the different cement and different things in there, and they'd mix lime in with it. And lime is a very caustic material, but they'd mix a lot of lime in there. And Jose had reached the point where he wanted to be baptized, and so we set up the baptismal date for him, and this would have been Elder Cox's first baptism experience of teaching and converting someone. And so it meant a lot to him. And we went the morning of his baptism just to check on him and make sure things were still a go. Knocked on the door, and his mother came to the door, and she said, well, Jose's had an accident. He had fallen into the pit that had the caustic lime in it and burned his feet terribly. He couldn't walk. He was laid up in bed, and he was in a lot of pain, and his feet had all kinds of just burns and sores on them, and he was in no condition to especially go get a font of water with those burns, because it would have just aggravated it more. And before we left, I said, well, Jose, we can give you a blessing if you'd like. And he said, yeah, I'd really like that. And so we gave him a blessing and promised him that he would be okay for his baptism. And then we left. And I thought, wow, what have I just said? But we went, and we got the font ready and went about our day. The baptism wasn't until later that afternoon. And when we went back to his door, he was waiting at the door with his shoes on and everything, and he was perfectly fine. He said, I'm ready to go to my baptism. And so we knew we'd seen a miracle, but this wasn't the only miracle that day. We went to the church, we had to go to another town to the church that had a font. We went there and had a beautiful baptismal service. Elder Cox, who of course he was new in the mission, hadn't been there very long, and he was still struggling mightily with the language. And that was one of the things that was discouraging him the most, is that he just was struggling to pick up Spanish. But at the baptism service, he asked if he could bear his testimony, and he did. And he got up and he poured a perfect testimony in Spanish. And it was an incredible experience to see that impact on him. It just changed his whole mission. And we were greatly would like to share that experience with how the Lord blessed that dear companion of mine, who has been a dear friend of mine all my life since then, and to see the tender mercies of the Lord that were poured out not only on Jose, who was baptized, but on my companion, who really needed that help at that time.